I'm so cool, I went to Africa. Back at school, they would laugh at us. Now it's cool to be black as fuck. Now it's cool to be from Africa, huh? Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. It's so cool to be from Africa. It's so cool to be from Africa. I'm so cool, I went to Africa. Back at school, they would laugh at us. Tell the truth, it was cruel. Now it's too cool to be black as fuck. Now it's cool to be from Africa. Now it's cool to be from Africa. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. Met the coolest youth with stamina. Ate the sweetest fruit to match it up. Had some banku, ate some food with some good stew belly buzz. Kelly Welle, ate some red with some jollof, I enough. Plantain made me cuckoo, so much good food, man, ate too much. Yam chips too added up. Man, don't be mad at us. I took a plane from Canada. I can't complain, I landed, bruh. Soon as I landed, they handed up. All of that hate ain't adding up. I took my words and just backed it up. It's always been cool to be black as fuck. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. It's so cool to be from Africa. It's so cool to be from Africa. It's so cool to be from Africa, huh? Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. Strongest backs, they manage enough. Too cool, they balance food with no hands. This ain't a bluff. Next strong, they very tough. Made me just level up. It's always been cool to be black as fuck. It's always been cool to be black as fuck. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. The women intelligent, beautiful, fit, and hella thick, yeah. Dripped in melanin, sun kissed, it's evident, yeah. The men real gentlemen, so fine, so eloquent. Melanin dipped in elegance. Ghana is so heaven sent. Home of real medicine. Home of black excellence. Gain independence. By Ghana's first president. Kwame Nkrumah represents freedom with no hesitance. Justice and no settling. Let that just settle in. All of the riches from Africa. Met the coolest kids in Africa, boy. All of the wealth is in Africa. Buy some land and sell all of your toys. I need to get out of Canada. Create a business, now you self-employed. Your money will stretch like it's algebra. This is the truth, man. This ain't a ploy. Strongest backs, they manage enough. Too cool, they balance food with no hands. This ain't a bluff. Next strong, they very tough. Made me just level up. It's always been cool to be black as fuck. Always been cool to be black as fuck. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up. It's so cool to be from Africa. It's so cool to be from Africa. It's so cool to be from Africa, huh? Went to Ghana, now I'm acting up.
You know, they taught me words like Madase, Apauta, Premi. Went to Ghana.
Hey guys, what's up? Hope you guys are all good. I know it's really late. It's really late up in here, but I know for everyone in the other side of the world, the UK's, the Europe, what's up? So I just wanted to have a quick convo about, just I get so frustrated sometimes. When I see how our countries are, because literally, like, we have gold, we have diamonds, we have everything that the world needs, and we have to. This is the thing. If people didn't know anything about Africa, if people didn't know anything about the history of Africa, they would think that we're just beggars. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, it used to really bother me, because it's like, you come from somewhere that's even better than Britain, you come from somewhere that's even better than the US, but the world sees you as a beggar. The world sees you as somebody who's on world vision. And it's like, it's not even just that. It's the fact that literally we have to, well, we don't have to, but that we beg these people for money. Let me break it down like this. The reason why it even makes me extra upset is that our leaders who take these contracts, right? Like a leader could take a $30 million contract, do maybe $10 million worth of the work, and then $20 million is missing. And what gets me upset is nobody actually gets in trouble for this, for the most part. So $20 million goes missing, right? $20 million that was supposed to be used for a project. The project isn't done, and then the rest of the people have to pay that money back. Do you not see how backwards that is? And then we'll turn around and we'll say things like, oh, we don't have good schools, we don't have good roads, we don't have good buildings. But the money to fix those things was there, but it went missing and nobody cares. It's just the most frustrating thing in the world. You don't understand. Like, and even in talking about bad African leaders, let me give you guys a good example, okay? Cameroon. I don't know how that country still exists. No offense to anybody in Cameroon. I love Cameroonians, but your president is not a good look for Africans, Caribbeans, African Americans. Your president is not a good look for Black people around the whole world. He isn't. Like, do you guys see how ridiculous this is? Let me make it full screen. So the current president of Cameroon is Paul Biya. This guy has been president since 1982. Okay, so when Ronald Reagan was president, he was there. All these people, Donald Trump was president, he was there. Now Joe Biden is the president. The same president of Cameroon is the president. If that's not backwardsness, I don't know what is. And I'm not even trying to be mean, but how is this allowed? How is this allowed? And these are the same people, sometimes, that Cameroonians will see. These are the same presidents that will shake hands with these type of presidents, not knowing that these type of presidents are laughing at you. They're laughing when they see that. Like, oh, look at those Africans. That president has been president for 30 years and his country hasn't improved. It's the worst thing ever. Like, it doesn't help, the state that we're in right now. So when people talk about the Cameroonian war or the Cameroonian fight that's going on right now, I'm like, in as much as I don't like seeing Cameroon, the state that it is right now, the president is a bigger joke than anything that's going on in that country. The president himself is the biggest joke. So everything else that's going on in that country isn't as bad as that president being in power since 1982. I think he's in his 80s. He doesn't want to step down. We're here talking about the youth got to take over, the youth got to empower the country. How can the youth empower that country when that guy doesn't want to leave? And nobody's doing anything about it. Like, how do you even try to change a system like that has been in that country for that long and that people have normalized it? And it's not even that country, it's a couple of countries out there. And in talking about the subject matter of this live stream, it's about the loans, right? It's about how can you move forward if somebody else is not only giving you something, but then they feel like they own you because they're giving you something. But then you want to talk about you're independent, but then other people are funding you. And it's like, what? And the thing that makes me upset the most is fine. Every country takes loans, right? Even the US, every country takes loans. To me, it's not even so much the loans, it's what's done with the loans. You take loans for this and that and this and that. You don't even get the work done. And then the future generations are supposed to pay those loans off. But then you're saying the youth is the future, but you're giving them debt. So to me, it's just kind of like, what is this whole thing? Can we get out of this? And when are we going to get out of this? Because some of us are really upset and we're really tired about this. It's just, it's something that even though we talk about and we understand the problem, it seems like nobody wants to fix it, or nobody is willing to risk their life, risk their job, risk anything to actually change the system. So I'm just sitting there like, okay, so what do you want? Because right now, as it's COVID-19, right? As it's Wuhan virus time right now, the IMF is looking at Africa. So the International Monetary Fund, as I explained before, they're not only looking to give Africa supplies, but they're looking at this time as their predatory moment to target a lot of African countries and say, this is the perfect time to give money. This is the perfect time to help them. And knowing some of these African presidents and African leaders, they're obviously going to fall for the bait. They're going to fall for it. They're going to think, oh, wow, US and France, they're concerned about us. They want to give us money so that we could develop or further develop our countries. Meanwhile, they have another agenda behind this. It's really disgusting if you really think about it. See, they even have a whole article about it on the IMF website. Africa's hour in need. African governments urgently need additional external funding to help mitigate the pandemic's economic impact. So they're basically saying, okay, African governments need extra money to do whatever they can do to help them with the pandemic. And it's like, why is this on your website? Like, why is this a concern to you? Did any of them come to you and say that they needed help? That's so insulting. And it's like, what can you do and what can you say when you are looked at? It's like Africa is looked at as someone's child that people always got to make decisions for and take care of. And in doing that, and that having been done for about 50 to 60 years now, it literally makes Africa look like they're Europe's, everyone else's child that they got to make decisions for. So the thing is, okay, so when are Africans going to make decisions for themselves? When are Africans going to let go? I mean, I sympathize, but at the same time, it's like, when is it going to happen? Because all of a sudden, you have all these African governments. I heard this one African government talk about, colonization wasn't that bad. At least we got all these roads and all these things that they built for us before they left. And I'm sitting there like, is that honestly the way that you're looking at it? Because you saying that out loud is justifying the actions that they did. Like, you saying that out loud is actually, you're admitting defeat. And I honestly feel like a lot of Africans and Caribbeans, the governments, they just got too comfortable. They got used to whatever everybody else did for them, that now it's like, I just think that they're too comfortable. Like, they don't see the problem that's going on. They think that it's not that big of a deal when it really is. It really is. When you're going for a loan for, let's say, $300 million to do something, and you can't get that project done for whatever reason, okay, the money goes missing and nobody can be held accountable, or it's very difficult to hold somebody accountable. And afterwards, if these people actually get held accountable, they don't go to jail. So it's like, if you give those people all that power, they're going to continue to do it. Meanwhile, these are the same people. We know the West is really good at this. These are the same people, France, US, all of these countries, they're the same people that will go there and be like, okay, so I'm going to give you this money. All you got to do now is make sure you teach more LGBT rights. It's like they're not only giving you money, but they're saying, because I'm giving you this money, this is what we want you to do, so you better do it. And it honestly just looks horrible. Like, it's really frustrating, to be quite honest. It's really frustrating because you look at so many things that need to be done, and when you speak to certain Caribbeans or certain Africans, they'll say, okay, they'll say things like, okay, well, at least they're helping. And it's like, but you don't know why they're helping. You don't know what their ulterior agenda is. You don't know the reason why they're so quick to come and help you. You know, like, you actually trust these people. These people don't even treat Black people in their countries properly, but you think that they're going to treat you properly just because you're African or you're from the Caribbean. Like, you think automatically they care about Black people. They're obviously in there to take advantage of your resources. You know, institutions such as the United Nations. I used to be like that too. I used to love the United Nations. I used to love UN. You know, I used to be like, wow, this is so beautiful. United Nations, you mean everybody's uniting and everybody is working together? But the United Nations, if you really do your research and if you really do the background, UN is only good to protect the people who are on the Security Council, to be quite honest. That's the only good thing UN is for, is to protect, I forgot, but there are 5 nations on the UN Security Council. But that's what UN is for. UN is not for any Black country. They don't care about that. You know, all these conflicts and all these wars that happened on the continent years ago. I remember UN troops being sent to there and people being happy, people be like, wow, the West cares about us so much. They really don't. I don't even the missionaries, you know, those Christian missionaries that go to Africa, none of those people are good. All of those people, well, not all, most of those people are spies. They're just spies. They're double agents. They're going in there saying, oh yeah, you Africans need help. Okay. Then they're taking mental pictures of places where resources are. Oh, that's where they hide their gold. Oh, that's where they hide this. Oh, they're all spies. Okay, fine. Sorry. Most of them are spies. I keep saying all. Most of them are spies and they're not meant to be trusted. But this is what happens when you look like the beggar of the world. You know, people just think that they could go to your country and do whatever they want. It's so frustrating. It really is, because I just, I'll give an example. There's a country in Africa called Botswana, right? It's not brought up a lot because it's a good country. The population is pretty small. It's only like 2 million people. So it's not brought up a lot because it's not a popular country. But that is a country that basically shows every Black country in the world what you're supposed to do. That country went from being the second poorest country in the world to now being one of the richest countries in the world. Basically, what that president did for that country was he was like, I don't want people to leave this country, so we're going to have to build the schools. There's going to have to be extremely good universities here because we don't want people to go and have to go to different countries. We don't want people to leave. So he literally took everything and invested it into his own country. Then what he did, Sir Ritsikama, was the president at that time. Then what he did is he made sure that when he was selling his resources to the colonizers, that he would sell it to them for a fair price. So the reason why Botswana right now is doing really well is because they sell their diamonds for what they're worth. And they're able to use the revenue of selling your diamonds for what you're worth to invest in your country. And we know diamonds, they're valued really expensive for whatever reason, but I guess they're a valuable rock. So if your country sells diamonds for what they're worth, you're going to be a really successful and rich country. But for some reason, Nigeria can't get it together. For some reason, Ghana can't get it together. Ethiopia can't get it together. Somalia can't, like, so many other presidents can't get it together. And it's ridiculous, because if you look in the case of the Caribbeans, for example, Caribbeans, they're islands, right? So the islands are extremely beautiful. Everybody goes there for vacation. The Caribbeans are so nice. But if you look at the state of the Caribbeans right now, look at the people of the Caribbeans. They're not doing good at all. If you go past the resorts where people who actually live there can't even travel to those resorts because those are now, they've become European resorts. The people who live there can't even afford to go to those resorts. So if all these Europeans are running away, okay, they're leaving their cold countries to go to vacation in the Caribbeans, why are the Caribbeans not able to take care of their people? Why is that happening? Well, we know why it's happening, but why is it still happening? Like, it's so frustrating. And then these institutions like the IMF, the World Bank, blah, 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 they come in and they say, oh, yes, what do you guys need? It's so frustrating. Like, some people really don't understand how frustrating it is, especially when you're somebody who you had to leave because you wanted to stay there, but you didn't see a future there, so you had to leave. So you left, and now you're coming back, or you want to go back, and you want your ideas to be heard, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everyone's like, oh, you're in the West, you're having a good time. It's really, it's like, it just hurts. Like, honestly, it just hurts. It hurts to know that the West specifically puts Africa specifically in the state that it is, so that it's easy for them to take advantage and loot, do whatever they want, and then leave like they're not doing anything. It's weird. Because you look at UK today, you look at France today, you look at all these countries today, and they have all these beautiful buildings and all these beautiful streets and all this beautiful stuff. But all that money came from somewhere else. And the place where that money came from, some of those places at least, look like a dump. And then you got people out here saying that Haitians eat mud cookies or whatever. But you don't even know what Haiti went through. You don't even know what Haiti went through. Haiti was the first country to even practice Black power, to practice Pan-Africanism, to actually stand up to her colonizers. And they had to pay for that. They had to pay about $22 billion just to be free. And after they did that, nobody wanted to associate with them. At the time when Haiti was free, everybody else was either in slavery or colonization. So there was no backup. There were no African countries. There were no Black countries to help Haiti. But these are the same people that say Haiti's poor, Haiti can't get it together, when they literally stole from Haiti. They make everyone else feel bad for everything that they went through, not acknowledging that they had a role in it and that they never decided to actually compensate these people or pay these people back. And they just get away with it too. Nobody has stood up to them for that. I mean, some people tried, but no one really stood up to them for that. No one held them accountable for their actions for that. So then you have generations of people who have felt so defeated that they don't even know. They don't even know that they deserve more. That's what's so sad about it. They look at this, they live with this, they think it's normal, but it's not. Their minds are entrapped. You know? When some people speak about a revolution, right? And when they speak about putting matters into their own hands and to actually physically fight, people go like, oh no, we can't do that. We gotta be peaceful. We gotta do this. People don't even want to have that conversation because they're so defeated. Like it's disgusting, you know? So if you have a people who are defeated, if you have a people who are afraid, if you have a people who have accepted being treated bad for hundreds of years, okay, not hundreds, maybe 100 years, I would say, then how can you tell them that someone else is taking advantage of you and you should stop? How can you tell them that when they've normalized that? How? How do you literally sit there and say, no, don't give this person that? No, your gold is worth more than $24. It's worth hundreds of dollars. How do you tell them that? How do you tell them that? They've been doing it for so long. Some of them have been born into those type of systems. How do you tell them that someone else is taking advantage of them? It's literally so bad. I know some of you guys have seen this, but let's watch this 1-minute clip real quick where, you know, a colonizer explains it way better than I can.
Already know. Okay, so what this presentation is fundamentally designed to say is this. Africa, historically, sub-Saharan Africa, has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. Okay? And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital to the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And
it just said it. Everything that's been designed, everything that has been done purposely to keep Africa the way it is so everybody else can prosper, everybody else can get their cheap materials for their cheap phones, for their cheap laptops, and the Africans can starve because nobody cares. That's basically what it is. Let's go to the Caribbeans. Let's make it the best vacation spot. Let's make Jamaica, let's make Cuba, let's make all these places the best vacation spots. And the Jamaicans and the Cubans live in shacks, but we don't care because we're happy. It is the most frustrating thing ever. It's like, what? And then again, you have some of these presidents, which you hear me speak about presidents a lot because they are really important. They're usually the ones that sign these contracts that allow these people to sometimes come to these countries and do these things. And it's like, nobody holds these people accountable. Very few. Can you believe in some African countries in 2021, if you speak bad about your president, something could happen to your family, you could be gone. So it's like, how do you hold people accountable if you are in an environment where if you say something bad, that could be your life or something could happen to you? Like, how do you navigate around that? How do you do something about that? How? You know, you literally got, it's not just presidents, you literally got ministers who steal the country's resources. Okay, that probably happens in the West, but I don't think it happens to the way that it happens in Africa, where literally ministers could come into power with a couple of hundred of thousands of dollars as their net worth, and then leave with millions stashed. How does that happen? This is nothing new. This is not new information, but it's when you really like air it out, it sounds so like, it just sounds so unbelievable that this can happen. Like something like this can happen. You know, Nigeria has oil. Who else has oil? Dubai. Oil is a great resource, but someone could use it for their own means, get rich off of it. And what happens to Nigeria? What happens to the education system? What happens to the roads? That's money that could have been used for all of that, but that's in somebody's pocket. What is that person even doing with an $80 million yacht? Like, seriously, a boat? When you could feed people with that, and you know your country needs people to be fed with that? But people want to talk about unity. Like, I'm just frustrated, because that should be illegal. Okay? Somebody should seriously get into trouble for doing something like that. When you got some presidents that have been in power for 30 years, you have some presidents that have been in power, they die, their wives or their sons take over. And it's not like, oh, you've been in power for 30 years and the country just has done so great. You've been in power for 30 years and your country is not doing all that good. So what are you doing? But then we want to do this pro-Black, nobody gets involved type of thing. So that means that nobody can do anything about that except for people in that country. So nobody can make comments on it except for people in that country. They're the only ones who can change it. But they don't know how. Nobody does. So what do you do? Like, I honestly don't think some people in here understand what it's like to be in a country where your president has been in power since 1982. But then people want to be like, oh, just stay there and figure it out. Stay there and figure it out. Some people in their 30s probably never experienced another president. Ever. But you're telling them to stay there and figure it out? But they've been there for 30 years, 20 years, 15 years, haven't seen any change, but you're telling them to stay there and figure it out? This is not normal. There's no excuse for that. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if we do it to ourselves. I seriously, I have no idea. Because, I mean, and I'm not against doing anything in Africa. Clearly, I love Africa. I would die for Africa, even if it seems like I wouldn't, I actually would. But I seriously don't understand why these things are still happening. Like, I don't know. You know, Because when these type of things happen, right, who do you go to? We can't go to the UN because the UN doesn't care about the goodness of Africa. We can't go to any other country and ask them to help us because we know that doesn't work. We know the colonizer said, we like it when you guys are in disarray. We like it when you guys are disorganized. We like it when you guys sell us things for cheap so that we could sell it for 3 times, 2 times the price back to you and to everybody else. So we like that. So I'm just sitting here like, so then what's to be done? Because I don't know. I have no idea. People are here talking about start a business. Yeah, I feel like, yes, the diaspora can do that. But the local people who are getting ripped off by their governments and by these stupid loans, they can't start businesses like that. Where's the money? Seriously, where is the money? Yo, someone stole your $80 million to buy a yacht. So where's the money in your pocket? It's and but even with this whole Wuhan virus loans that they're giving out, I feel like a lot of African countries shouldn't even go for those loans or any type of, most of the help that African countries get from these people, they shouldn't get it. Like they shouldn't even apply for it. Because let me give you guys an example. Do you guys know those people who are like thousands of dollars in credit card debt, right? And they don't know what they did with that money. And then they keep going for credit card debt, even though it doesn't help them. That's what reminds me of some of these African countries. You're going for millions of dollars in debt, and you don't even know what you did with those millions of dollars. But these people got you hooked. The IMF, the World Bank, these other institutions got you hooked. So you know they're a backup. So you keep going back to them because you know, oh, it's okay. Even if I don't succeed, they got me. But they don't got you. They don't. Oh, it's a Wuhan virus 19. It's okay. I can just go to the IMF and they'll give me like $30 million. Where does the $30 million even go? Like I'm actually really frustrated as I'm speaking about this. If you can't notice, I'm really frustrated. Like it's oh my gosh. Honestly, it makes my mind hurt sometimes. It really does, because it's literally like, what do you do when something like this happens? And you'll have people who will give these governments and these people the benefit of the doubt, and they'll say things like, oh, well, these countries, they got rid of colonization like about 60, 70 years ago. So it wasn't that long ago. So they're trying to figure things out. And I'm like, no, don't. That's excuses. What do you mean trying to figure things out? I hate it when people bring up these other examples, but I have to say it. If you look at Singapore, if you look at China, you look at some of these other countries that had things happen to them, and right now they're doing very well. Fine, if there are 55 countries on the continent and there are about 20 countries in the Caribbean, right? Why are then at least half not doing okay by your logic? Why are at least half not doing okay? And some countries are doing okay, right? If you look in the case of Nigeria, South Africa, you could say, oh, well, they're the richest countries in Africa. Okay, but if you look at their GDP, they're supposed to be at 10 times the revenue that they have right now. So that's the mediocrity that I don't like, to be quite honest, because you can't tell me a country that makes $67 billion but has diamonds, has oil, has gold, has this, has that. That country should be making trillions. So that mediocrity doesn't work with me. Talking about, oh, well, the country, it seems to be okay. No, it's not. It's not okay. It's not doing okay. I mean, I don't know most okay countries that get loans. I mean, loans to that capacity. So yeah, there's something seriously wrong with the way that those countries are being managed. And I'm not gonna lie, this is not to say that those countries are doing extremely bad, right? Those countries are doing better. I'm not going to lie. There is a little bit of improvement, but the improvement is just a little bit. It's not a lot. That's the underlying facts. The improvement, the rates are supposed to be much faster than it is right now. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. Okay? I'm not. I can't. I can't sit there and be happy when I see an African country, for instance, get a loan to to develop their airport, right? To develop their airport. Meanwhile, the babies who need basic education, they're being neglected. Like, to me, that doesn't make any sense. You want to get an airport so that when people go to your country, they see a beautiful airport, but then when they leave the airport, or the people who got to take the road every day to go to work, to go to school, nobody cares about those roads, but the airport looks good, so you could put good photos on Google. Like, that's a Band-Aid. That's what you call a Band-Aid. That's not a solution. You know? So yeah, like, we know it's the African leaders, right? But how many years are we gonna sit here and say it's the African leaders' fault? Like, how many years are we gonna do that? Like, who's gonna do something about it? That's the question, I guess, the question that I have. Who is going to do something about it? Who is responsible to do something about this? It's crazy to think that in 2021, there are some schools out there that don't even have good electricity on the continent. But this is your future that you brag, oh, this is the future of our country, but you're not taking care of them. So what the heck? This is the one thing I don't get about some African countries, right? You say the youth are our future. The youth are our future. You don't invest into your youth, so you expect your youth to have allegiance to you just because? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. See, and this might sound kind of weird, but even if these African leaders, right, were kind of corrupt, but they at least put more effort into taking care of the youth, like actually investing into the youth, I probably wouldn't be that angry. I probably would be like, okay, well, they're still stealing money, but at least some of these basic things are being taken care of, so it's fine. But if you neglect the youth, then that basically means you don't care. You know? You clearly don't care when you steal people's money and you buy mansions in US, you buy mansions in Dubai. But you're the leader of a nation and you're buying mansions in Dubai. It's gosh, and I don't even know, man. It makes me, it makes my head hurt, because it's like, do they even care about this? Like, do they even care about themselves? Because if you don't care about yourself, who's supposed to care about you? Wait, that doesn't make any sense, but it kind of does. I don't know. But like, yeah, if you don't care about yourself, who else do you expect to care about you and help you out? I'm just, oh my gosh. Loans are a form of bribery for Western corporation to use and get their hands on resources. What I don't understand about us Black people, we always blame somebody else. In America, they are saying we need loans, and I don't know. I have no idea, because I don't know. Like, I guess we just have low self-esteem. I have no idea. I don't know, because you already know the rest of the world sees you as a joke, and you don't care. You don't care to change that. You're okay being in a servant position. You're okay with that. You're not trying to advance. You're not trying to be better. You're okay with screwing your own people to get ahead. And then people will come and say it's the West's fault. Yeah, the West is manipulating people, but do people, and I don't mean to be rude, but do people not have brain cells to see what's going on? Or do they just not care? Because you can't do people like that. You just can't do people like that. It's not right. And it's not fair. It really isn't. Like, I know some of you guys, and you guys are really lucky, but you guys don't know what some people are going through. You don't know. Let me tell you guys, I have a friend, and right now she's in Saudi Arabia. So she's in the Middle East, and she's working as a maid. She wakes up every day at 7 o'clock a.m. and she works from 7 to 10 p.m. as a maid. No days off, no holidays. And she only gets paid $200 a month. What kind of life is it? She left her country to go to a different country to do that because she didn't see the opportunities in her own country. So if it's that real, in which I'm going to talk about in the future, if it's that real that people are they're getting on boats, you guys know about that. People are getting on boats to go to Europe. If it's that real, then something is wrong. It's not just, oh, people don't believe. Something is wrong. If you're willing to almost die just to get to Europe, something is wrong. Because you don't see the reverse. You don't see Europeans risking their lives to become migrants in Africa. So I know it's more than one person's fault. I definitely know it's the people of the West's fault, but is it not Africans' fault for it to keep going? Like, who has to fix this mess? I was told that the only people who could fix Africa is Africans, right? So don't Africans have to fix this mess? Yeah, loans don't do anything for you, especially loans on a national scale. Loans make you comfortable. Loans let you know that there's a safety net. Loans don't do much. And then they have interest as well. And that interest grows after years and years and years and years. I know this is something people don't really like to talk about, but like it's just not, we've accepted it, but it's not good. It cripples you. It cripples you. You get used to what you call it, I don't know what you call it, but you get used to people bailing you out type of thing. And it's not good. It doesn't help you grow. It only helps you stay afloat, but it usually doesn't help you grow. And this is not to take away from the fact that there are really good things happening on the continent. I'm not saying there aren't, but again, the fact that loans have been normalized for so long, it really just doesn't help the economy. You can't, it's hard to move forward when you've been conditioned to keep accepting these loans, and you organize like your country's budget according to those loans. It kind of gets people sell their resources for what they are worth. Natural resources by themselves are not worth a lot. If people can make more money, they would. We need to advance with technology more, but we lazy. Okay, so we are lazy. Group economics, also the elites, the people who are already rich, I don't think they're interested in doing some of these things. If you look in the case of Nigeria, Aliko Dangote, he's doing a lot. But Nigeria has, I would argue that Nigeria has hundreds of billionaires. Nigeria has a lot of people with a lot of money. Why is it only one man or a handful that are trying to develop Nigeria? Why is it not all of those billionaires that are trying to develop Nigeria? I guess a counter argument to that would be, oh, well, developing the country is not an individual's responsibility, it's the government's responsibility. But the government, for whatever reason, they're not really trying to do that. So then what do you do? Type of thing. I don't know, because Nigeria is not poor. If you really think about it, we all know Afro beats, we all know Nollywood. Even their entertainment industry alone makes a lot of money, aside from the fact that they have a lot of resources. So it's what can be done, I'm not sure, because even if we're talking about, okay, the diaspora can come in and help. I know sometimes people get angry when I say certain things, but the diaspora is not that rich. Like, the diaspora is medium. The diaspora is average. The diaspora is not rich like that to come in there and build a whole bunch of factories. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, if the diaspora, enough numbers of people actually donated huge amounts of money, I think something could happen. But the average diaspora doesn't have it like that. The average diaspora is just thinking about building their house and retiring. They got their little $50,000, maybe 60, and that's enough to like build a house and keep it pushing. That's not enough to really build these type of factories that people are talking about. So I'm not trying to poop on anybody's parade, but when people talk about, oh, the diaspora just needs to come, I'm like, okay, but that's not a lot of people, first and foremost, that are coming back. And the diaspora are not all millionaires. Like, a lot of diaspora are a couple thousandaires, some even less, which is fine. But okay, I'm not saying you can't build jobs with like $2,000, $5,000, but if we're talking about big scale manufacturing, I'm sorry, that's not happening with $5,000. It's not. So where is this all coming from? Unless if you're talking about the diaspora is gonna go ahead and apply for loans to get this done, then okay, I can understand. But other than that, what are you talking about the diaspora? Like, I believe in the diaspora in terms of them influencing governments and getting that kind of stuff done. But if we're just talking about money, there are people already in those countries that have money and they're not doing anything. So I don't know. I don't know. The economy don't work like that. Things are worth people are willing to pay for. If you don't sell it for cheap, somebody else will. Yeah, but it's not even about selling things. They sell, okay, for instance, right? Coltan is sold for not very good prices, but then it's used to make computers, it's used to make laptops. I honestly think what they sell certain resources for, they could sell it for a more fair price. Seriously, because even if you look at gold, right? Gold has a certain thing that it usually goes for. But when we're talking about the real world, gold is sold for basically what the person values it for. And in a lot of these countries, there's literally stacks of gold where you know somebody is getting ripped off for what they're offering that gold for. You know that person's getting ripped off. But I guess they're doing that because, I don't know, maybe they don't know any better. People will buy resources, because some of these resources are only on the continent. So people will buy those resources. But why is it that the handling of those resources, where does it go wrong? Where does it go wrong? Because it doesn't make any sense. I understand what some people talk about when they bring up resources, right? Because yeah, just because you have resources doesn't mean you're rich. I completely understand that, and you would be correct. But those resources need to be sold because people need money to do things with that money. I can't develop my country if I have diamonds sitting on the ground. I'm gonna have to sell those. I'm gonna sell those diamonds anyway to make a profit off of it. But not only are you getting ripped off, but you're getting ripped off, and then when you buy that product back, you can't afford it. So honestly, it's really frustrating when you think about it. It really is, because the Black people that are involved in these type of things, everybody just goes with the flow. Everybody just goes with the flow. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to change the system. Everybody knows they're being ripped off, but they're okay with it because somebody who's not Black is doing it. So it's okay when somebody who's not Black is doing it. But if somebody who's Black is doing it, then there would be a problem. You wouldn't accept that same treatment, because that treatment is not supposed to be accepted at all, but people accept it. And again, when people talk about we gotta rise up, how are you gonna get people to rise up if two people don't even want to work together? If two people can't even work together, how are they gonna rise up? Again, I'm not trying to be like extremely negative, but at the same time, I'm literally being realistic. How are people gonna rise up when it comes to actually doing work? 500 people will sign up, 100 people will remember to show up, and only maybe like 2 people will stay, and 1 person completes the assignment. How's that gonna happen? You got a continent of 1.2 billion people, and they're being ripped off by everybody else. And that's just the way that it is. Everybody's supposed to accept it. No, times are changing. Let me tell you this, times are changing, and people aren't going to accept that behavior anymore. I think the real problem and one of the real issues is if people know that they rise up and that they're going to fight, that there's going to probably be a war. And maybe that's what's holding people back. Maybe people just, they're too happy with what's going on right now. They're too comfortable. So they know that there's no point in trying to change the system, because if they do change the system, then people's lives are going to be at stake. I don't know. Maybe that's why people don't say anything. I have no idea. But one thing I will say, it sucks when the rest of the world looks at you as a beggar. It sucks. It's a horrible feeling when you hear about these companies saying that they're raising money for Africa, and then they go to Africa and that money's not even there. I know you guys remember what happened with Haiti and that earthquake, when they said they were going to raise billions of dollars to help the Haitians. And then a couple years ago, after the investigation, where did that money go? Nobody knows and nobody cares. It's really frustrating. And to be honest, if anyone has solutions, please let us know, because I don't know what a solution to this is. I have no choice but to not lose hope, because I don't lose hope when it comes to these type of things. But if you're asking what are some ways in which we can move forward, I have no idea. I really don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. Because some of these decisions that are made without our consultation. These decisions are made behind our backs most of the time. So how do we even get involved with that? How do we literally move from this hole that we've been for 50 years? Some people getting to 70 years. You know, you can't say, oh, just stop getting loans from the West. Clearly, that seems to not be possible. I'm not really too sure why. I guess the money is not there. I'm assuming that's why. I don't know. Because if you look at some of these projects, right, and I'm going to be messy for 2 seconds, and I'm sorry if this hurts anyone's feelings, but if you look at some of the projects that are even going on right now, who are those projects being funded by? Those projects are being funded by the West. So then how can you sit there and say, oh, well, we don't need the West, but they're building your new airport? You want to talk about you don't need them, but you're using them to get things done. So I guess clearly you need them to a certain capacity, but why is it that when it comes to signing these contracts, you don't benefit the way that you're supposed to benefit? When some people could come into your country, you say, hey, I need this built, and then they bring their own people from their country to build that project. But you have people in your own country that just finished school, that probably did associate's degree, regular university degree to get that degree, or to get that whatever certificate. You have people in your own country who are looking for jobs, but you sign a contract where someone else can come to your country and they bring their own people. They fly them and pay for their visas to do your work. Where else is that allowed? I don't think that happens over here, but over there, that happens and nobody cares. That's just the way that it is. And then you complain, and then you're hello to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And then your kids, your youth complain that there are no jobs, but there are, but you don't hire them. You hire people who come from a different country, who've never struggled like you, people who don't care about you, and they come to your country and they build their own restaurants. And they have, like, honestly, it's, I don't even want to go there because it can, if I go there, I'm going to say something that offends somebody. So I'm not going to go there, but it's not looking too good. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't at the same time, if that makes any sense. Oh my gosh. The West ain't building nothing. They're getting cheap resources in return. Yeah, I mean, I consider China to be part of the West, so maybe the West isn't building anything. China is definitely building things. But how are they building things? You know, do they even need to build things? We didn't invent or build computers. If it wasn't for that, Colton wouldn't be worth anything. We need more intelligent people. For some reason, we don't like. I honestly think, okay, no, there are intelligent people on the continent, but what's making them stay there, right? What's making them stay there? I posted a video not long ago and I deleted it, but I can't find it. There are so many kids out there that are inventing things. They're doing things with their minds. They're creating and building things. Who is funding these kids? Do you know how many boys are on the continent right now that built cars? That literally built cars from scrap metal, built softwares. There are people that have built things. They've invented things. But nobody cares about those people. Nobody is saying, okay, I'm going to support you. You're going to be part of my apprenticeship. They're being left to their own devices. So you could be really smart, intelligent. Nobody's funding you. So, I mean, obviously people who are smart and intelligent like that, some of them are just going to go to the West and work there where they can easily get a job. That's just what's going to happen. You know, that's just what they're going to do. Do you know how many people are educated on the continent? Because on there, in the continent, when you're in a competitive space like that, everybody has a degree. Everybody goes to school. And I know that doesn't necessarily make you smart, but it just goes to show that they care enough to go to school over there, you know, because they believe that it's going to help them. They believe that they could use those skills to then use those skills to build and help their countries. But then they can't because the jobs are limited, because I don't know. I guess that's by design, by the West too, right? I don't know. I know I'm being really negative in this video, but I've seen things, okay? I've seen things. And it's sad. You don't understand how evil some of these government leaders are and how they lead their people on and how hopeless you feel. Like you don't understand. Some people just don't get it. They're living in this utopia where everything is perfect. Like, things are okay, but when jobs are limited in a country and then someone else is bringing their own people in that country to complete those jobs and you're born there, how can you have love for that country when that country does that to you? I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know. I don't know how to solve this. I don't know how to solve the problem of the West taking advantage of resources everybody keeps saying we have to build manufacturing plants. We have to build manufacturing plants. Why are they not being built? Like, why are they not being built? Why are they not being built then? If it's that easy, build them. Like, it's so frustrating. You don't even understand sometimes. You seriously, I'm telling you, you don't understand. When you literally know that your continent is richer than every other continent, but every other continent they're taking off, they're benefiting from yours, and you're forced to get these loans that you know are no good for you, but you don't know what to do. It's just not in a good place to be honest. I don't know, but I guess some of us have to go over there and fix that. I don't know how though. I agree with you. Africa doesn't need money. I agree with you on that. Educated people that can work in them. That's why they go to China or Taiwan, even India, because they are more productive. Correct. Oh, sure, no problem. And shout outs to Happy Companion. That's the big broski. And shout outs to Donnie Goes In. Shout outs to Quincy. Shout outs to Locke. Shout outs to everybody in here. Omega Courtney. But yeah, shout outs to all you guys. I don't know. I'm not feeling hopeless, but at the same time, what is there to do? What can even be done? I mean, yes, Botswana has done it. Some other countries are doing pretty good. Ethiopia, Sudan, and what's the other one? Is it Somalia? Okay, the countries that are beside the Nile River. I think the Nile would be a really good place to start. I know they're doing something with the Nile. So if they can somehow develop the Nile and use the dam power to actually do some things, I know that would probably be a really good start. But other than that, I really don't know. The West, I don't know. They're just evil. How do we come back with their evilness? What do we do? That's what I think I'm having some trouble, and I just don't understand.
Good morning. It's morning time here. I'm sorry.
Good morning. What's
Not much. Check you out. I was finished my prayers. I said, let me get on the line. I'm a little sleepy. That's me. Yeah, you making some good points today, African Millennium. Really appreciate it. And I think we had enough of this stuff, just being raped and pimped and all this things that's going on with our continent. And it's like I'm just really appalled by it. Like a week ago, I was in Banjul, and this one brother, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, I don't know, but he there's a Chinese guy walking in the restaurant while I was sitting. And he said, "Hey, go home, go home. Africa's our home." So that's one thing that came up. And then he gave me the brother gave me the African hand, gave me a handshake. But it's just we've just been exploited. We have so much resources here, so much energy, so much everything here. Everything's here where I'm at right now. And we are leaving here to go to the plantation and not even make it. We barely making it there. And it's like, it's just really frustrating for me to see that. And hopefully the tide will turn. Because I know you mentioned that, the diasporans, we got about $1 trillion some from the diaspora, but we not collecting it together. That's the issue. And with ADDI, I support them. They seem to have a lot of things that that can program that can really benefit to put the resources together to make things happen for us. It's for the diasporans to help with our brothers and sisters in the continent to unite and bring better infrastructure, bring better economy, and so use our knowledge that we learned from the West, the good part of our knowledge, to help build industries and to be competitive with the West. And so that's what we need to do, because otherwise we're gonna keep losing. We're gonna keep losing this battle. It's ridiculous that like you see a brother like me coming to the continent. It's different reasons why I came, but I just hate to see. I mean, I was okay financially. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people aren't. Some people are. Some people aren't. But it doesn't matter. To me, I think that we need to stay. We need to try to build it up, build it back up, and stay focused on the mission of getting people back here. But at the same time, what they're gonna do when they're here, are we gonna help build? Or are we gonna be independent and just hey, you know what? I left the West and I'm on my own. I'm just gonna live my happily life. I think that's an issue too. You got some people who want to really put the pound in and say, hey, look, bring people back and let's build something. You got people who say, I just want to do my own thing. So that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, I see. I've seen a lot of the individual thing where on the continent, you have like rich people. You have people who live in really nice houses.
Yes.
And they're just concerned about that. They're happy having that nice house, and everybody else around them isn't doing that well. But they're happy because they get to basically send those people who aren't doing that well on errands, right? So they feel like a king and a queen.
Yeah. I know.
It doesn't help at all, to be honest.
Yeah,
At least
I've seen some
properly if you're gonna do that.
I've seen some houses around here. You can tell they probably either old money from back in the colonial days, that they were working hard and whatever, working under that industry or that what do you call it, empire or whatever. And then you have those who went to the West, made their income, made their money, made their riches, and came back and built. But I say one thing about, like, there's one industry, there's one for QCell. QCell is an internet company here, but they have a Q City here, and it's a big sports complex where it has a movie theater in it. It has a big gym. I go to the gym there, and so and they make the prices affordable for the Gambian people to actually go in and have a good time, especially on Sundays. They have swimming pool, they have all this thing, they have a restaurant there. So you have people actually who are trying, but it's difficult when you have such an extreme from rich to poverty, because I mean, to them, I think sometimes tomorrow isn't pretty much guaranteed. Who's going to say where you're going to be in the next 5 or 10 years? When you come to the West, you pretty much say, yeah, I got my pension, I got my Social Security money, I got all this going on. I just stay here, and then after I retire 5 years later, I die. But I'm gonna still die with something in my pocket that I can pass on to, maybe some of the money can go to your spouses or whatnot. But I think what happened in the continent is that they don't have that strong retirement system or something that's going to get them, they just thinking, I got to survive today, and can't look too far ahead. So that's why a lot of people seem like they're stingy with their resources. But I don't know if you have an opinion on that, but that's what I was thinking. So hopefully we can people can unite and combine resources like we're trying to do. And like I said, every day I'm out here on the grind. I'm not out here playing around. I'm out here trying to get some stuff going. I had some business meetings this whole week. I've been busy with stuff. So, we can't. People say it doesn't take, one person can't do things. But I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are doing a lot of things that we don't really notice. And I like the pictures back there on your back screen. Yeah, your screen. It's tight. Yeah.
But yeah, what I wanted to say though, I guess it's also be clear. I
Yeah.
also that the number one resource that Africa has is the people. Like, even
Yeah.
though the gold and diamonds, they're nice, I'm not gonna lie, but the people are really, really important.
Hmm.
We have to uplift the people more.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people, they're already happy and they're okay with what they have, but I just feel like a lot of them also don't know how important they are and how important their country and their land is. I don't think they actually realize how important it all is. Because if you realize how important your land is, you're not going to let anybody just come on there. You're not going to let anybody treat your land the way that they do, right? So I'm not sure how, but people need to be empowered more.
Yeah.
I think because they have this, especially in West Africa, they have this like culture where they're kind of shy and a little reserved. So it's like, they don't like to brag. They're very humble people, but I think that goes against them when it comes to trying to protect their stuff.
Hmm. 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 We're still suffering from the post-colonization. And I say somebody made a comment, it's like, are we animals? Just like they let the animals live when they stop hunting on them. And I think I mentioned before that, like with Nagasaki, Hiroshima, when the U.S. Put the nuclear bomb, when they bombed them, they ended up helping rebuild the countries. Even in World War II, when you talk about, I think, Nazi Germany and all that, even the U.S. still helped help build places. Hopefully I'm correct on that. I think I know. I took history many times, but when it comes to post colonization, when they left, they just left the place like a nuclear bomb, like a bomb went off, and then it's still be 200 or 300 years behind. A lot, not that far, about 200 years behind everything and behind the rest of the world when I look here. And like I go in the back roads and stuff. There's all kind of potholes and bumps. I'm driving through it. I'm like, why is it like this here? But this is just one country, and you have other countries, 53 other countries in the on the continent. But I'm just speaking from this perspective. When I've seen, I think even in Kenya, it wasn't really that bad. It was a lot of the roads wasn't as bad as it here is here. It's like there's going to be some things that can be implemented to help out because especially I hear the word boy, boy, they keep calling each other boy here, and just like the N word, we call each other the N word in the States, and so because we was called that by the oppressors, and I spoke to some Gambian brothers here, they were saying, yeah, it was because they used to call us boy here. So they call each other boy, 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 boy. We still, got a lot to learn. And as long as we keep calling ourselves these derogatory words, it's not going to help. And then people looking down on other people because they're doing manual labor. They're not in an office job. See, they have an office job here. It's just it's you part of the elite part of the family. But if you building a mechanic, like you said, you got people who can build a car from scrap. That all they need is the funding, the education in school. And somebody did mention education is priceless. Black Illuminati mentioned that. So it's like people don't see that. I mean, it's almost like they're treating it like a third world country type of uh so like okay, what can I say, like certain countries you go to, you can build. I mean, you have these big industries going to a big countries, I mean to these third world countries, and then they manufacturing things in there. They're only paying people like $1 a day or something like that, and then they sell them for a shoe, Nike shoe, whatever, for $100, $150. See, that's what's going on here as well. It's like they're not paying the people what they should be paying, and people are allowing them to do that. So if we come in with our factories in our industry, in factories like I think Rwanda. I heard Rwanda is one of those countries that's really spearheading this movement as well. They's like, hey, they taking it back. Look, they had the genocide there. They learned from that. They say, hey, they learn what these powers that be that can do to our people, and they can divide and conquer us based upon ethnicity and the colors of our skin and whatnot. And so we have to learn from that and look at that as a problem, because we have tribalism in the States as well, and in the diaspora as well. We got people from Haiti or people from Jamaica. I'm not like a Yankee boy in the States. They're part of Babylon. Hell, everybody else part of Babylon if you're not in the continent. So and that's what's going on. That's what I see.
So do you think that tribalism is a big deal?
Oh yeah, tribalism is a big deal. I think it's generated. That's how they got us as slaves in the first place, because of tribalism. Because of already divided. They looked at who had the most power, who had the biggest tribe, who had the strongest tribe, and then they used them to conquer other smaller tribes and then suck them in. Because Shaka Zulu was doing that for a long time. He was like the Genghis Khan of Africa. He going to different places, but that's so. I mean, how can I say it? Wrong is wrong, okay, but it's on the continent. You got people come from the other places in the world coming in and capitalizing off of it. Wars, even in Europe, they fighting and taking land. They were making Germany wanted to make a bigger country, Germany. They took a whole bunch of land and ended up taking it back. And they were over in Poland, they were over in France, they was over all these different places. Wars happen, so let them fight each other and over that crap, whatever they got. But if we're gonna do something here, that's just the way it is. I mean, as far as life is gonna happen in our family, people are gonna fight in war, things like that. This is what happened, hundreds of years ago, and not as far as in the African continent. But let them go ahead, but don't come over here causing mess. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just keep your crap over there. Keep your crap over there. Come on this panel. Anybody want to join on this panel? I see some good people out here. What's up, Omega? What's crack-a-lacking? But go ahead, sister. I'm sorry.
I was just looking at a comment over here. And
Okay.
I said, apart from West and Far East Asian, none of other races are better than Africans. And I agree with what you say. But that's the problem, though. I also agree that no other races are better than Africans personally, but they don't see Africans as superior. And unfortunately, some Africans don't see themselves as even on the same level as some of these races.
Yes.
And it makes it a little bit difficult sometimes to work with some of these Africans, because they already feel like whatever somebody else produces is better. And I'll give you an example. One of my cousins, we were cooking a meal back home, and we have two different types of tomatoes. We have like fresh tomatoes and tin tomatoes, right? Like tomatoes that come in the tin. And the fresh tomatoes were in the backyard. And so we were like, okay, so what are you going to use? And she said, no, use the one from outside. Use the one from abroad, because that's the proper one. That's the fancy one. So it's probably going to taste better. And as soon as my grandmother heard that, she was upset because she knew what was up. She was like, no. Use the tomatoes in the backyard. I trust those ones. But the younger generation is like, oh no, those tomatoes are from Italy. Let's use those ones. And honestly, it's just tomatoes. But the fact that it's tomatoes from Italy, it's foreign. So I guess it must be better than yours. That type of mindset, it doesn't help, I would say.
It doesn't. But African American, I see a lot of similarities in the culture. We got somebody on. Okay. Um, I see a lot of similarities in the Southeast Asian countries, in India countries, subcontinent, and Africa, when in terms of the dress, in terms of how even when people carry things on their head, I see a lot of sisters here carry items on their head. It's easier to walk and stroll, and instead of carrying things like this or carrying having two people, it's like they carry things on. So even in Asia, India, all these countries, Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, they do the same thing. I said, and people want to say, well, Africa is all for Africa. Okay, that's fine. I mean, you see people like the Chinese, they're very, very more advanced than these other countries. However, if these smaller countries, like these countries like Southeast Asia, if we can trade and communicate with them, and because they melanated as well, even though people don't really want to give them that credit, but they melanated as well. I see some people look in India look just like in Pakistan, but who, well, how can I say it? They look like us and stuff, but sometimes they don't act like a lot of
Well,
us in a lot of ways.
good point. I actually
Yeah,
think that working with others who are not the
yes,
colonizers, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that's a good idea. Like Indians, we could do a lot with Indians. Um,
yes,
the we leave out the other diaspora, like the Brazilians, we leave them out a lot. But our brothers and sisters in South America, for instance, in Latin America, they definitely could help a lot as
yes,
well.
yes. Get some good trade going. I know you got somebody else on the panel.
Yeah,
What's up?
hello. Yeah, I just wanted to say a few things in terms of, I wanted to talk about the main topic, the title, and then add a few things. The title is about loans cripple Africa
Yeah,
and aid cripples Africa. I don't really know too much about what exactly African leadership asked the money for. You feel me? Because I could say we don't need the aid or the loan of money, but behind closed doors, they may really, really need it, to buy, machines for hospitals, to buy medicines for malaria, to help people in the, rural areas who've got malaria. So I don't really know in depth about, because I'm not an economist in it. I don't know too much about economy, and that what I would say is that overall, from my point of view, yeah, I may be wrong, but I don't think African countries need to be asking for aid anymore. They just need to set the prices for their resources. So one thing about the countries like the Western world is that when they are buying, say, a bag of cocoa from Ghana or Ivory Coast, they set the price. They'll be like, "You've got one sack of cocoa. We are going to buy, I don't know, for $10. But those in Africa may want to sell it for maybe $20 per sack. But the Western world would be like, we will buy it from you at this price. So because the Western world sets the prices, the African countries do not really benefit, and the African farmers, it doesn't trickle down to the farmers because the Western world sets the price. This is one of the reasons why Africa is poor, is because this is the reason why Africa struggles, is because of the unfair trade deal between the continent of Africa and Europe. Europe sets the price for gold. European nations set the prices for diamond. They set the prices for a lot of the resources. The African countries who own the resources don't they don't set the price. If they do set a price, what we do find out is that, like we found out in the past, if they do try to set a price and try to force a particular price on a particular resources, so they get invaded, they get overthrown, they get assassinated. So the African countries don't really have a choice in that they are kept poor through some form of unfair trade. As for the loans and the aid African countries get, I think it does more harm than good. One, it destroys the image of Africa. If you think
Thank
of
you.
we in the Western world and what we Africans, especially here in the UK, what we had to go through growing up, because of how African countries were portrayed on TV when there's a thing in the UK called comic relief. I don't know if you guys have it in other parts of the Western world where, because the African countries are asking for money, it destroys the image of Africa, which obviously impacts how people treat Africans or see Africans here in the UK. So it destroys the images of Africa, strips Africans of their dignity. That's the one thing it does. So apart from the destroying the image of Africa in terms of making Africans look like beggars, these aid and loans comes with conditions. So it's not one of those ones where they give the aid to the African country and it's like, okay, here you go, have the money, do whatever you want with it, and you pay in, I don't know, 10, 15 years time, you pay back with, I don't know, 5% interest. It's not like that. These aid loans comes with conditions. So it was like, okay, Britain will be like, okay, we will give Ghana this amount of money, but in return, we want access to your resources. We want our multinational companies to drill for oil of your coast. We want our multinational companies to dig for gold at this certain price. So it's almost like a form of bribery in a way. From like he said, it comes with conditions. Even with the vaccines that the Ghanaian president was talking about recently, they didn't just give him the vaccine; they gave him vaccine plus aid money and loan. So they're like, here's the money, here's the loan, here are the vaccines. So because a lot of these aid money and loans comes with conditions, it always leaves Africans pegged back. You feel me? You always leave Africa, and Africans do not really have a choice because once you become a bit resistant in terms of collecting aid and stuff, they tend to place heavy sanctions on you, and that would cripple your economy. So the African leadership are stuck between a rock and a big rock and a wall. They don't know where to turn to. Now they've been turning more and more to China, who tends to gives out loan and aid in exchange for building our infrastructure, like roads, bridges, hydroelectric dams in Egypt. And they tend to give infrastructure in exchange for resources, which I think is better. Because when you give African leadership money, they tend to split the money amongst the leadership and put it in their own personal bank accounts. But with China, at least you get roads. And I've been in different parts of Africa, especially Ghana. I've seen China building roads. They may bring their workers over and stuff, but at least they build a road. Then, if you were to give their money to a Ghanaian construction company, they may take the money and never build a road. So in terms of that, I think more deals with China is better off than dealing with the West because China's building infrastructure on the continent. That's my take on it. That's my take on that. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you. I definitely think China is better than the other people because at least China, they give you your money and they tend to not interfere with your politics, or they tend not to say we need you to do this LGBT whatever thing that they want you to do. So even though people don't like China, I do think if you do have to go to somebody, China is a better choice versus the West. But in the part where you were saying that African leaders don't have a choice, I'm not sure. That one is what I'm thinking about. I'm like, are you sure that they don't have a choice? Because
No, they do have a choice, but the part where you're not understanding with me is that African countries are dealing with unfair trade with Europe. They've been doing that for Lord knows how long. Europe sets the price for every commodity, from agriculture to resources to everything. Europe sets the price on the African countries. They set a price on how much they're going to buy the goods, resources, and everything. In this case, African leadership don't really have much say in how much they're going to be selling their stuff, meaning they constantly need money through aid and loans. The problem with African leadership is because of corruption, they always misuse the funds and the loans given to them. That's why I think China's a better alternative because they actually build the infrastructure rather than handing physical cash over to African leadership who would just misuse it.
So you're saying that
In
they don't
terms
hand in
of,
cash?
I don't want to talk about the second thing, which is the progress in Africa. I think Africa is making massive progress that a lot of people aren't seeing, especially with the free trade starting on the 1st of January. The free trade deal that came into place, it means Africa is the largest free trade area in the world. Over 1.3 billion people 54 different markets, 54 different. You can literally sell anything. So this thing is going to create a lot of millionaires, a lot of billionaires. You can do a lot of trade. 90% of all products or works and services is tax free. So I think a lot of progress is being made by the African leadership. So I think this is the plans that a lot of African leadership have in place with the Africa Beyond Aid movement. They want to diversify Africa's economy through these free trade with the hope that they wouldn't have to rely on loans. And a lot of African countries have actually don't receive loans anymore. A lot of African countries say they're not interested in taking loans because they don't need it. Countries like Tanzania, Botswana, Ghana soon to join the list. Nigeria doesn't receive aid or loans anymore. A lot of African countries have gone beyond the days of collecting aid and loans. So a lot of African countries are progressing. And in fact, a lot of Africans are now giving aid to other African countries who need it. I think progress is being made in so many different ways. But overall, I would say loans and aid are not really needed from the West.
Sorry. I'll have to disagree with you on your last part of the sentence. I'm sorry. I can't live my life with that type of money. Yeah, continue. Did I cut you off?
Overall,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, overall, the loan and the aid is not needed. And African countries in the AU need to do more to diversify their economy so they don't have to rely on loans and aids and all. But I think a lot of African countries are making a lot of progress to the point that some African countries are giving aid and loans to other African countries. So I think progress is being made. A lot of African countries are no longer relying on aid and loans no more. So many African countries don't get aid and loans anymore. So progress is being made. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
What was your, what can I say? When you say they don't get loans or aid anymore, I keep hearing about corruption in the government, that there's a lot of money that's been funneled. Where's this money, as far as some African countries, where is this money coming from then? Why are they being corrupted? Is it coming from the citizens itself, or you see what I'm saying? Why is corruption being even exist if there's no aid or money coming to the continent? That's my question.
There's something, for some reason, every time I try to listen to you guys, I don't really hear you guys properly. But I think I didn't hear what you said. I heard half of what you said, but I think you were saying something in regards to why do some African countries still collect aid and loans? Something like that.
No. What I'm saying is that you mentioned that there's no aid, African countries aren't collecting aid and loan. So where is the corruption coming from then? That's my question. It's not being facetious or being like that, because I keep hearing opposite. I hear that the money is still coming. Maybe you can ask African Millennium. Maybe you can ask him, because he probably can't hear me right. Johnny goes in. What's crack-a-lack?
What's going on, fam?
Hey.
Nothing much. Just talking about Africa.
Very important topic.
Government, money.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about the money, money.
He was being pretty optimistic, and I agree that Africa's progressing. I'll always stand for Africa, period, because if not, then I don't think there would be a point in me living, to be quite honest. But he's saying so many African countries are doing well, and I see it in a different perspective. That's why I'm just kind of shocked, because he was saying that, okay, I think he was saying probably like possibly 10, maybe African countries aren't getting loans anymore. And I'm like, but if we have 55 countries and possibly only 10 aren't getting loans, then is that good?
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think loans are a good. Go ahead, Donnie. What's crack-a-lack?
Peace, fam. Yeah, I think we just need to, we just gotta remember that with them loans, it comes demands. They not free, and I think Africa need to remember that. If they give you extending you loans and credit, first of all, they're gonna charge you the highest percentage rate on that money where you can never pay it back, and then they're gonna want all your resources and come in your country and take over on top of it. So I just think it's the time that we need to say, we got to make it on our own with the little resources we have and figure it out. We need to do that on our own because they showed us time and time again they're not here to help us. And everything got a string, everything got a small print that none of these leaders seem to read. That it all ends up with they winning and we losing. So I don't think we need to do it anymore.
Can I add something, African Millennium?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking that we should be, the countries on the continent should be helping each other. As far as even if it's loans, whatever, food, distributing rice and things from each other, items like that, textiles. Even African Millennium, she's a genius when it comes to that because she had mentioned how Nigeria, with their industry, with Nollywood and Afro beats and things. Because you look at the African community in the diaspora, we have an industry, music industry, but a lot of times our music industries is ran by big high-end companies that aren't Black. But in Africa, Nigeria, they have an industry that everyone's watching, you know what I'm saying? And so, so we can even trade with Haiti, Jamaica, other Caribbean countries, instead of trading with the West, the European West, that really doesn't do, at least we trade or get loans amongst our own people. And everyone can benefit and capitalize off of it. But it depends on how much income these countries got to deliver to loan us the money as well. So the funding. So that plays a role. But I think if we trade more and more with each other, even in Jamaica has a big they can come to the Gambia. That's what I heard, without any issues at all. They can come in. It's like they just walk in. It's much easier for them because they're considered, almost like part of Africa to a certain extent. Because you got a lot of Rastafarians here. You got a lot of people. The Gambians are Rastafarians, believe it or not, and they have a good connection. So if the African continent can like the diaspora is not only in the States, the diaspora is all over Brazil. You got other places that predominantly Black nations or African nations, Region 6 nations. And that's what we need to do. Trade within Region 6 as much as possible to build that up, and I think that will help. I'm sick of us having to lick the boots off of these people all the time. It's just ridiculous for hundreds of years. We're gonna take 2,000 years for us to finally uplift ourselves to get the hell out off their payroll. You see what I'm saying? So I'm getting a little hyped up right now. Sorry, I was watching her earlier. I was like, man, I was half asleep. I said, let me get on this live today because she got some good points, man.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
I definitely agree with you. Yeah, you're right, because historically we weren't even able to trade with each other. We didn't even know that each other were options. So you're right. We have to actually now start working together and stop being so isolated. I think we're just used to being isolated. So
Yes.
you don't even realize that, oh, wow, we're like, altogether, I think we're 1.4 billion people that look like us. That's a lot of people.
Yes. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, I think we need to. Oh, go ahead.
Well, we were talking about the Southeast Asian countries as well that are, that we can trade with as well. We got to include melanated countries that are that were former colonies as well, that were raped, and abused, just like, and if we can get together and unite as well, that'd be great. That's what we're trying to mention. We was talking about that earlier, Donnie. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think we need to we got to start manufacturing things. I think that's our
Yeah.
major problem. We got all the natural resources, but we ship it to Europe, China, and everywhere else for them to process it and sell it back to us 1,000 times higher than what we sent it out for. And as long as we keep doing that, we're gonna keep running into the same problem, and it's gonna have to happen from a individual. It got to happen from the bottom. This we can't do it from the top because we know most of these leaders are, they've made these deals. They puppet leaders, and they just not gonna do it. I mean, and we don't have time to keep waiting on them to do it. So, and I think that's when we come in the diaspora coming back because we bringing back skills. We bringing back so
What's that? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Man, I'm trying to click stuff off. Go ahead, brother.
it's all good.
My bad, man. My bad. I was trying to click some stuff off. That's me. My bad, man.
It's all good. Hey, yeah, we gotta realize that we got all we need. I mean, why do we need to? We got to get back to basic manufacturing. Every industrialized country went through an industrial revolution where they start building things, and until we do that, that's the problem. And I think we can start on the bottom level. That's why I say we need to bring every piece of equipment, every piece of manufacturing equipment we can get our hands on and bring it to the continent. We need to dissect it and we need to reproduce it, to do everything. Because we trading with our open enemy. You trading with China for rice, and they selling us back plastic rice. And it's like, we trading with our open enemy. How do we expect them, or why do we continue to expect them to trade fairly with us when they're our enemy? So it's almost a mafia protection scam we got going on now. We're going to offer you protection. You make this deal with us, but yet we rob you every chance we can get, and they're the only ones that profit off this situation. So I think between that and we need to look at this definition of capitalism, which is the problem. This European, I hate capitalism. I mean, it's not what they say the definition is, or at least they don't practice in the way that they define what capitalism is. Because as long as we're in a position where the minority in our population has all the wealth, all the resources, and all the power, then we always going to be in an economy when the ones at the bottom are going to be in need. And as long as you have the majority of your population is in need, then you're gonna have crime. You're gonna have people that's desperate, and it's time for everybody to eat. And the only way we're gonna do that is if everybody get a skill, if everybody learn how to manufacture something, and we're just gonna have to make it work with what we got.
I think so.
Oh yeah, no, you're definitely right. Before Quincy goes, I'm sorry, Quincy, Donnie said such a good point, which I think flew over people's heads because sometimes it does fly over mine.
He's good.
Definition of capitalism is, I don't like it either. I don't. To be honest with you, like, how we, like Black people right now, especially, we're talking a lot about group economics, and that's our way of life. That's not their way of life. Their way of life is one person gets ahead and everybody has to bow down to them. And we historically, I don't know about right now, but historically we believe that everybody gets on, like everybody does well, And when I see more and more people trying to be individualistic and one person just wants to be the master of everybody else and the ruler of everybody else, that really bothers me because it's not cool. It's like they have, and we're talking about loans and manufacturing. For instance, manufacturing. They manufacture certain things and nobody else is allowed to get into that, or they don't want anybody else to be like manufacturing the same things that they are because they get mad and they get jealous and they understand that's less money for them. They're just really competitive in such the wrong way. I don't like that.
Yes. Yes. I think we've been on the short end of the stick of the capitalism. That's one reason why as well. We haven't been capitalizing too much. You know what I'm saying? That's the issue. We get the scraps. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? You got minimum wage. You know, be happy with that. All right. You know, you can eat a little bit. Eat that government cheese. You know, that's it. That's what we do. man. Yeah,
it's a straight up abusive relationship. I mean, that you get nothing out the deal. It reminds me of playing the lottery. You know, they hold it in your face like the Powerball. You know, come and play, you can win, but in reality, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna win. So
exactly.
You're gonna win, but it ain't gonna be you. But they're gonna make it. Or like, what's that thing that used to come to your house all the time with the Publix clearinghouse where they
Ed McMahon.
Yeah, that's capitalism right there. You know, nobody ever wins. Then you find out later that you know that it was all a scam, and that's what capitalism is. So
like everything else.
yeah. But you know. But you know, they talk about we talk about China.
Oh. See, they even got the internet. Their name and they cut you off.
He was saying the bad word, the C word.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all saw that?
Yeah.
Man, what's up with that, man?
All we heard was the C word.
I was gonna say more than the C word. I guess they read my mind. They said they got mind control on me right now. CAC mind control. Let's take, shut them down, man. Okay, this what I was saying. Man, I forgot. They let me lose my chain of thought. Man, those people, man.
You said something.
Oh, okay. Well, no, okay. This is what we do. Okay, we was talking about the superpowers. Okay, you know this like the gold rush again right now. Africa, it's a gold rush right now. Not literally gold, but it's like in California had the gold rush and stuff. So you have these superpowers who are, fighting for that turf again. So I mean, who is a better ally for us when it comes to that? I mean, who will we? I mean, they're not really melanated like like these other Asian countries, but who do we want? We want Russia over here. We want those other Western superpowers. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Or we're just gonna do our own thing and say forget it, just start it up. And that's all I liked Donnie goes in initiative what you mentioned. Let's start from the infrastructure and start from the beginning, start up that way. But it's so difficult because we're still going to be behind. We need that technology as well, and somebody said technology is evil. I think Black Illuminati or somebody mentioned that, but I mean, or something like that. Or the fact is that they built it so we can't capitalize off of it. Not capitalize, but we can't. I gotta use a different word, but we can't utilize that equipment because we didn't build it. I think we can, though. We can. I mean, just because they leave a lot of stuff for us to use, we can use it and learn. We got smart people and very intelligent people, like African Million said, who can take a piece of equipment that they probably gave to us, and we can learn how to build it from the scrap up, and we can just manufacture it. We manufacture it to our better use. So you know what I'm saying? Crazy on again. If he can hear us, we was talking about Quasi. Go ahead, African Millennium. I'm sorry. I know. Remember the question? He had a question that we had. He got off again.
Yeah. He must be about to drop some knowledge or something. They won't let him on tonight.
Oh, I think he was saying that Africa is making advances or something like that. But what you were saying, what you were alluding to the fact, I think, was that why does Africa or why do certain Africa countries have to get loans from the West when they could probably just get loans from Africa, right?
Yeah, but then
Because Botswana, I love that country. It's a really great country, but can't maybe they help some other African countries and instead of Africa asking China, Russia, hey, I need help. Ask another African country who's doing all right for help. I think that was what he was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know whose network it is, but hopefully this works. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Yep.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, basically, when you guys speak, when I'm on the live show, when you guys speak, I can't really hear you. I don't know why, but I just wanted to make a few points that you raised, and I just wanted to counter and come off finally. I wanted to talk about the progress, huge advancements, because you were saying that maybe it's just a few African countries that have made a progress in terms of not receiving aid anymore. And I wanted to counter that and said, no, that's not the case. A lot of African countries have been rooted from poverty into lower middle income status. Ghana, Botswana, Cote d'Ivoire, many more African countries I can think of at the top of my head. Kenya, Ethiopia, a lot more African countries are now classified as lower middle income countries or middle income countries. Even South Africa is part of the G20. So a lot of progress has been made. And a lot of African countries don't really need aid anymore. In fact, some African countries are now even giving aid to European countries. Countries like Angola, for example, has been giving aid to Portugal. Portuguese citizens have been traveling and moving to Angola in search of jobs. I don't know if you've heard about it in Luanda. So progress is being made. It may not be as much as some people may want it, but it's still progress nonetheless. And Africa is basically at this stage is in the same place China was, because China has taken. The China we know of today is not the China that it was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. China was basically a third world country. It's only recently in the 80s and 90s onwards did China really begin to emerge as an economic superpower. So Africa is basically in that same stage, and I think Africa's time is now. Africa's economies, a lot of them, at least half of them, are around lower middle income status. A lot of them are still classified as poor, but half of them has been brought to lower middle income status. I think a lot of progress has been made, and like I said, a lot of African countries are not receiving aid and loans anymore. It's just a few African countries here and there, and a few African corrupt leaders that are still demanding aid from the West. But I think a lot of progress has been made, and we can talk about the bad side and the good side. We can also talk about the solutions, what we can do as individuals to make a change. Me personally, with the African free trade in place, I'm looking to start a business somewhere in Africa, a Pan-African business that I can make a lot of money from, that can trade and do a lot of things in the African country and make money from it. I don't want to just talk about the problem. I want to talk about the solutions, what we can do as individuals. But like I said, a lot of African countries have been brought from in the lower middle income status now. So that's a lot of progress has been made. Yeah.
Do you think that the other African countries are in debt with the so-called superpowers, and reason why we can't benefit from ourselves and give loans to ourselves? That's my question. If anybody can think of that, anybody have information about that? Because that's a good idea in theory, but is it practical because of the current economic situation in various countries on the continent?
I didn't really hear what you said, Prof, because when you guys talk, sometimes I can hear, sometimes I can't really hear on my side. That's how I have to keep coming off, listen to what you guys are saying, and then come on again.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know why, but that's how it is on my side.
Okay. I'll type it in the chat.
I should have did that too. Maybe I should do my question in the chat.
Yeah,
Why you typing it in?
type it in the chat. I'll be able to see it.
Yeah. So the question was about do you think the countries will be able to with the loans and the financial agreements they have with the West, will they really be able to be independent?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to type the question to me. African Millennium. I'm waiting for you to type the question to me.
Okay, well, I get my answer while they're typing the question because I don't think they will. I think as long as they continue to take money from the West, I guess my first thought is what they doing. An example I would think of. I think it was wasn't it Senegal that borrowed the money from China and built a railroad, and they sold them a train that never worked, a whole railroad system that never happened after they bought this money these projects. So it was somewhere else that they borrowed this money so China could build them a highway, and before they was finished, the highway was sinking in the ground. And so I mean, they borrow money for these infrastructure projects, but in return, they get inferior work and workmanship and paying a top dollar for it. So that's why I say, we better off doing it ourselves, because at least at least we'll get people that's invested in the outcome. These countries are not investing in the outcome; they only investing in the resources they can take out of the country.
Absolutely. China basically, I think basically the whole thing of China is their country is so overpopulated, right? So they need literally to ship people out to work. And that's basically what they're doing. They're using their human capital to go to other countries, develop it even more, because China's pretty developed, as we could see. It's pretty good. So they're basically using their extra useless people and giving them money to go to countries and work on those countries. So I think that's what happens when you do that. Like the workers that you employ, they don't care about Africa, obviously, right? So you give them a contract to do something in Africa, they don't really have a reason to do that work that well. They're getting paid anyways. If the work is really good or kind of good or even bad, they're still getting paid.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. That's the reason why I think they need to go or not be as involved.
Why would they do their best? Like, why would I give you my best technology? Why would I give you and help you be in a place where you don't need me anymore? It does, it makes no sense that these African countries think that your enemy will help you improve your infrastructure enough that you won't need them anymore when that's how they're surviving off our infrastructure. The argument doesn't make sense.
It makes good point, Johnny. Good point. They always want to have their hands in the pot, in the cookie jar. They don't want to get their hands out the cookie jar.
Christy, did you have anything to add?
Somebody
Sound like you internet issues.
The internet's no joke, man.
Oh yeah, you know how to go when you talking about something good, then.
I feel you, brother. I feel you.
As long as we on the internet, it's gonna be the same thing. I think we need to technology. I thought that even with the communications, I thought it was coming from satellite, but I just heard somebody said this week that the actual cell phones and stuff is on the ground from the towers. So I'm thinking, you know, they're not gonna sell you their best satellite. So you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna give you their best. But if it's on the ground and we just need to put it up on some towers like they do on top of the buildings to get some quality high speed internet, that's what we need to be focusing on. Because until we get the communication system in place and widely available internet, we still gonna be behind. Because people can work from home if they got the internet and it's working well. So that makes you global. You can operate this anywhere. So I know that's why they don't have all these internet issues in the continent, because they don't want you to have this technology. But we got to be able to start investing in our own and creating it, and we should be trading. So I know Rwanda is got a lot of technology. Then everybody should be trying to get that from them versus going to the West to get it, cars and everything else.
But do you? I know this sounds kind of like a weird question, but do you think internet is all that important?
Yeah, it's the future.
I do. I mean, because look what's going on right now. We're communicating right now on 3 areas in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important. And I mean, I guess our mindset isn't, you know, like certain people want to go to the moon and go to Mars and all that, you know, but certain people don't care about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like us, we don't care about it, man. It's like, yo, just go ahead and go there. You go have a good time and whatever, and bring back some damn thing that's going to destroy the whole earth. That's what you're going to do. But we're not thinking on that level, man. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, I don't know, man. It's the mutation or something's going on. I don't know, whatever they got going on, it's causing them to want to reach out, to do other things and to prove that they're the top, you know, of the world, of the plate, you know, whatever you call it. Remember, it's early in the morning here, my bad. But I'm just really, you know, thinking about that. It's like we have a lot of we have, like I said, we have everything that we need is here, and we just need to keep developing here from the inside out. And so that's how we need to go, you know. And that's what Donnie went in. And like African Millennium even mentioned that, you know, they're always sending people in here as spies and trolls and stuff. And I think the religion parts of it they still doing it right now, you know, and feeding us food and donating and stuff just by private donations, not necessarily loans, but they're giving donations just to feed you for a day. And then if you believe in their doctrine, then you go ahead and then they love you and feed you for another day. But when you stop believing in what they want you to believe in and stuff, then they're not going to feed you anymore. That's the problem. That's the problem.
That is the problem. Even with some of these World Vision and all that, it's like they're making money still off of showing Africans on the TV saying donate $1 a day, but they're not even giving most of that money to Africans. So then what's the point of that company anymore? Does that company still need to exist and give their money to Africa? I don't think so. Because the United Nations does that a lot too. The United Nations, UNICEF, they've been under investigations, and a lot of people on social media have blasted them because apparently they're not really taking care of people who are on refugee camps, but they're saying that they are, but they're not taking care of people in refugee camps. So do we still need those people to come into Africa and take pictures with Africans who are going through unfortunate situations and then make all these campaigns in the West saying that they're helping Africans when they're really not? You know, I don't think that needs to be happening either, at least not right now.
I agree.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I think as long as we continue to accept aid, then we, you know, it's that whole mafia protection scam. It's that whole, you know, you take this food, but if you don't take it, then, you know, now we're going to try to put things in place to make it harder for your country. If you don't take this, or if you don't take the shot, if you don't take that, then, you know, we're going to put things to make sure that you can't trade with no one else. You know, they put all these artificial borders in place to make it harder for us, because they've made us dependent on everything outside of the continent, even though we producing everything here. So we keep coming to this same circular problem that starts with us. And I really don't think we can depend on these leaders, because I don't understand how many times they can use the bait and switch on us, and we keep falling for it every time. Even this free trade agreement, I just heard that parts of this, you know, they may put some stuff in place where, okay, where if you're going to trade outside of that, you got to come to us first. So it's like, even if they come to help you negotiate something, they want terms in the contract to make sure that they getting something out the deal. They don't do nothing for free. You know, it's not that family-centered, community-centered, you know, I am because we are type of mentality that they have, man. It's that I'm going to get mine mentality, and I don't care about anybody else, but we keep trying to negotiate with them, and we keep ending up in the same spot. I don't understand why on a continent where they taking the materials out, they coming back with grade 5, 6, or whatever the lowest grade materials they selling back to us, when they taking the 100% raw material in its truest form, and they selling us back below dollar store grade. If you in the U.S., below dollar store grade stuff back to the continent.
I think it's because it's just there's no consequences. You know, they get away with these things because they can, and nobody goes after them. I think that's why. Like, how dare you? Like, as you mentioned before, how dare you sell somebody plastic rice and nothing happens to you? Or at least, okay, people get outraged and they get mad, but someone needs to teach them a lesson.
You know what? I don't even think we need to take loans out. They need to be paying us for the damn crap that they did to us, especially in West Africa. How can they need a loan when y'all tore us up and raped us and just made everything the current situation that it is? They should be building it up and say, this is our apology for what the hell we done did to you guys and you know, throughout these 500 damn years, instead of having to take loans out. I don't think I don't know, did Japan take loans out when they rebuilt them up? Did you know, or do they just help them build it? You know, after they blew it, dropped those nuclear bombs on there. That's what I think. Forget the loans. Forget the loans. You owe us. You owe us. You know what I'm saying? There should be a damn train that goes all the way from Morocco all the way down to South Africa, and on the other side of the world, on the other side of the continent as well, from Egypt all the way down to South Africa. It should be a train that goes all the way down. It should be all. This place should be way more developed than what it is. They always want to have us dependent upon them, and when we shouldn't be. And so we take out, like you said, Maximilian mentioned, we take out the damn loans, and then we're going to be slaves to them financially, not even physically, but it's financially now, and that's the issue. So that's what I'm saying. Instead of loans, they should be paying us back reparations. That's what I mean. You know, that's, you know, on the continent. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, with all of that being said, it's almost 3 a.m. So closing done.
I'm good. Yeah. I'm in the morning.
Yeah, it is almost 3 a.m. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just getting started. I just woke up, so I'm getting started. What y'all talking about? I feel a little energy. Had my foo fix today. What's cracking lacking? Shoot, I'm messing with y'all. Yeah, I had to get on this live today. I ain't been on her live in a while, man. I heard kicking some jewels. I said, let's go ahead and support this sister, man. She's a new millennium.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem.
I guess I'll close out with this. I think high-speed internet is key. I think the people in the that's living in the villages and don't have it. I think if everyone had access to high-speed, reliable internet with TV in their homes and YouTube and everything else, then people would see what's going on in the rest of the world. Long as Africa doesn't know and can't see what's going on in the rest of the world, I think they'll still keep thinking that these Mzungus or Tubobs can be their friends and don't realize they're open enemies. As long as they continue to let them educate them, and I just keep thinking about saying blacks are going to a school in the Gambia that had no black books in the school. Had like one. Like, how is that in 2020, 2021 in the world that you can be in an African country of all black people and you don't have no black authors books in your school? So they hitting us on every area they can hit us to keep us asking for loans for money that comes with a cost that's higher than the rest of the world pays for the same money, and then all we do is buy inferior products. And I always think about Bag too when they was talking about buying wheelbarrows. They buy that fresh wheelbarrow from these from China, whoever make them, and they immediately got to take it to the welder for them to reinforce it. Like, why buy something that you got to fix? But then I see the same thing, how much ingenuity they have when their brakes, I see them do when their brakes went down and they just scraped it off and put a new brake pad on top of the old brake pad. I'm like, we don't even do that here. We just throw it out and get a whole new brake pad. They actually grinded it down and glued a whole new pad on top of that. So we got the ingenuity to be able to do anything. We just need the will to do it. And I think we need enough of us coming over there to give some fresh ideas and say that, you know, we can do this better, we can do it more efficiently, and we can do it in an African-centered way where we're looking out for everybody instead of this capitalism way when only a few benefit while everybody else suffer. And thank you for having me on.
No worries. Thank you so much for your opinion. Very much appreciated, especially at what time? 2:50.
3 a.m. in the morning.
2:54. Happy companion. Do you have any last words, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, you got another hour? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. And I did some lives up to 3 4 a.m. because of the time difference, man. I be trying to do 2 hours. All of a sudden, I'm like, but now y'all get to feel it, huh? Y'all know it's gonna take you 2 days to. It may take African millennia about half a day to recuperate, but then it goes in. You know how we at our age, bro. Could be 2 or 3 days. So, well, you know, pretty much. There's a lot to cover, man. There's so much things we got to, man. As I said, we need better stuff here, schools and things like that, so our people don't have to go all the way to the West to study. We need the jobs here, so they have to go all the way there. Everybody should be coming over here for jobs and education. We had the jobs and education long before they had it. For millennials, they was begging for how to learn how to clean themselves, how to learn how to navigate the stars and all this kind of stuff. We taught them everything. So that's what I'm saying. I think that we need to get back to where we were before. mathematics. We taught them this. We taught them every damn thing. So I think we need to be back on that level again when it comes to the continent and everybody, our people and our resources, like African Millennium says, but those natural resources as well as the our humans, our people shouldn't have to go all the way over there to different places to get the knowledge and experience. We should already have it here. We do have it here. We just don't. We just look at, like, even when people see me, they know where I'm from. It's like they get all excited and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm excited by seeing where you from. I'm excited about seeing the language, hearing the language that you're speaking, and the dress that you're wearing. I'm very excited about that. And so we need to be, in terms of trying to reclaim what we lost and whatnot. But as far as loans and things like that, we got to figure out a way to not be dependent on any other places, but other countries on the continent and our allies, other melanated countries, including like Southeast Asia and places like that, that have been victimized by the powers that be, like we were, and stop being divided. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and to add to that, I just wanted to repeat a little bit. Some of these
Thank you
loans,
for having me.
no problem. Some of these loans that these African countries have taken, it's like you trying to pay off a credit card that you can never pay off. Like these loans come in and you think it's the best thing ever, and it's really not. So you're right. We have to find a way to depend on them less, not take these loans so much. And if we do take these loans, then we have to sign better contracts at least, because some of these contracts are not even worth it if you look at the paperwork. But as some people have mentioned before, Africa is progressing. Some countries, Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, for instance, they are not working with Hershey anymore. Rwanda is investing a lot into technology, which I think other countries should do. And Botswana is just an amazing example of a country who knows what their resources are worth. They're doing really, really well. Like, they're a first world country. So we need to learn from countries like that as well. We need to see what they're doing right and what some of these countries are doing wrong. But, not going to give up. We just have to be more honest. And I think the people on the continent, they need to be less reserved and more vocal about things that bother them. In certain African cultures, it's kind of like, okay, well, you have to respect elders and you got to respect authority to a fault. I don't think there's anything wrong with voicing out your frustrations if they're legitimate. So I think some Africans just have to speak more about things that are bothering them. And maybe that will change certain things. I guess with social media, that's kind of a blessing, because I don't, Instagram, sometimes it's lit up in there. Like, you see some people really going in on Instagram. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks guys so much for being here. I really would stay, but I need to sleep. So thank you guys once again. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.